And we're live.
Hey everyone, welcome to Photography and Friends Live, February 16th. How is it going?
It's going. It's going. Every time you hit the live button, because we were chatting right before we go live, and then you
Yeah.
say, "Okay, we're live," and this little just red dot shows up. It's so anticlimactic. Every time I want there to be
You want
like a
confetti?
song, like a little intro thing or something. But here we are.
Dude, we need an intro. We totally
Yeah.
could do it. I'm just
Yeah.
okay.
Can
Intro
we
is
pre-roll a video or something?
yeah, with
Oh,
Ecamm I
man.
could totally put together a intro video that pops on before that would like lead us in a little bit more because it's like me and Sam sitting here. I click live, we wait, like we're like awkwardly waiting, and then it's live. That sounds good. Okay, goals for next week. But
Very
anyways, welcome everyone. Everyone who's here with us live, let us know in the comments so that we know there are people out there tuning in. Let us know where you are listening in from, and make sure we also sound good. Sam is traveling. Will is being a professional working, so he's not going to be with us today. But Sam, where are you?
I'm in my van currently in Baja, Mexico, out on the road. It's been I think a little over a week now. We've been traveling and just enjoying life on the road. It's still been working, still a lot of computer work. We have been using our Starlink, which I apologize if my signal's not super great this time around, but we're just on off on a dirt road right now and just taking a little pause from the drive. We're going to go from Loreto this morning down to probably La Paz, which is sort of southern tip of, well, not southern tip, but more south on Baja. So, uh,
Nice.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
awesome. Who here, let's see, aside from me, who listening is closest to Baja, California right now? We've got lots of
Anyone
people
down
coming
here?
from all over. Michael, what's up? Michael wants you to talk about the van. What's this van? And I'll give it out a couple shout outs. So, Ken, Bob, Ian, Bill, all of our fans coming in, all of our supporters, Michael from Massachusetts, Chris, that's Jessica. Jessica, right? Is that Jessica? Jake Clothier. I always forget. Jessica, Chris, what's up, friends? But yeah, tell us a little bit more about this van trip. Because this is like your first official like road trip with the van, right? Like longer road trip.
This is our first big one. We've done a lot of California stuff, sort of getting used to it more or less. But this is by far the most strenuous and North County, San Diego, the big Z
Oh,
fam.
that's pretty close.
We yeah, but yeah, it's where are we going to get water from? Do we have enough sun today to charge the solar panels? Like come nighttime, we have our little solar lights so that we don't run the batteries too low. It's a whole nother level of it while working. My partner has a full-time job, so um, it's it's a lot of learning lessons, but it's fully doable. And I've been doing tons of landscape photography, practicing my Spanish, eating
Yeah.
delicious food, and on top of it all, we have Bodhi, my dog, here with us. He's
How's
just
Bodie
passing out.
doing?
He's loving it. He's loving
Yeah.
it. Lots of beach days.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, I want to see more pictures behind the
Yeah.
scenes.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to post more. I posted one video on Instagram,
Yeah, yeah, I know.
but
Does
yeah,
everyone want to see more videos, behind the scenes, stories, and photos from Sam? Hit that like button. Let him know in the comments. He needs some encouragement, friends.
uh,
But cool.
so much
Well,
work. Social media is just so much work.
it is. It is.
It's a full
Nancy
time
from
job.
Phoenix, thank you for being here. Thank you everyone for being here with us live. It means a lot. And also, while we're doing thank you to our supporters. Our supporter list is growing, friends. and we don't need to
Thank
see our faces when we do this. Thank you so much to all of our new supporters this week. Really, really appreciate it. And every week when we get notified that there's a new supporter, it just makes us want to continue doing this and do more and more and more. So thank you. We're glad you're enjoying, everyone. Cool. Well, today we're going to be looking at the frame within a frame photo challenge from last week and answering any questions. I might pull up some photos for this week's challenge, which is dramatic lighting, and do a little bit of editing live with you all. And Sam also said he has a photo that he's trying to edit, so we might take a peek at that. And of course, if anyone has questions during, just shoot them at us, or we'll probably get to more open Q&A after the frame within a frame photo challenge. Wow, we got Iraq in the house. What's up? Thank you for being here. That's probably might be the farthest from Sam. So we got the closest in North County, San Diego, and maybe the farthest in Iraq. That's amazing. Cool. Well, let's get to the frame within a frame photo challenge. Unless there's any other updates, Sam. Nothing you want to talk about?
No, not. I'm ready to go. For Jay Clothier, I'm not sure. It might be that you're trying to do it from the phone.
Mm.
Um, I feel like Circle's pretty. The app should work pretty well. I don't know if you're using the app, but yeah, I'd maybe try the the, the website on a computer.
Yeah. I'm not sure. And you got to the link here. Let me just bring up the we're going to get over to the let's see. Let's go to Google
Thank you for
Chrome.
trying to sign up for it. Appreciate
Yeah.
that.
Okay, let's get my face over here. And where's Sam? Gonna add you over here. All right, so here's the Plus website, and thank you for everyone who is a member over on Plus now. We have over 400 people who have joined since we opened it up, which is awesome. So if you want to become a supporter, you can just click the Become a Supporter page, and then you can click Join here, and it'll take you to this page. So that's where you can become a supporter. Not sure if you got that far, Jess, but if not, send me a message on Plus and I'll help you out. So last week's photo challenge was the frame within a frame photo challenge. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna have a little bit of fun, and we are going to put up a timer, and then Sam and I are going to bounce back and forth and just give our thoughts about each photo. I think we'll have enough time to go through everything. So Sam, I'm gonna pass it to you for the first photo. So we're just gonna go down the line, starting at the top.
We're starting at the top. Okay.
So
Okay.
are you ready?
I'm ready.
Ready
I'm
to
ready.
go?
So
Okay.
how long do we get per photo then?
Well,
Or is it just 10 minutes overall?
I don't know. We'll see. This is just we're just trying to have a little
Okay,
bit of
okay,
fun, but we'll see. I'm gonna put up a 10-minute timer. So, yeah, really, we're looking at like less than a minute per photo, probably. We'll
okay.
see. We'll see if we can get. We want to try to get to all of them today. So, and we are going. See that timer right there? Look at that fancy timer right there.
Oh my
Okay,
gosh.
so we're gonna start with Michael Simpson. So Sam, I'm gonna just let you. Yeah.
All right. I like this photo a lot because, and I don't know if it was from a flash or from a house light, but it's clearly some sort of light illuminating the tree, and then in the background, very subtly, you have this radiant sunset, um, which I think is a really it's a cool juxtaposition. I do think in terms of the thought of a frame within a frame, um, it feels a little. I feel like the right side maybe takes us out of that frame. So I think if it zoomed in a little bit to really focus on that sort of inner frame of the tree where the red is also, which is sort of a focal point, it would help a lot. So I'd probably crop in or have zoomed in to remove the dark spaces on the right and also in that top left corner.
Mm-hmm.
Um, But really, I mean, it's a really unique photo having the snow or ice on the tree with that, beautiful sunset. It's a cool time of day to take that photo. I just think it for the specifically frame within a frame could have been a bit more framed with the tree
Like a
with this.
subject in there. Yeah,
Yeah.
I get it. All right, man. Well, I don't think we're gonna get to do this in 10 minutes,
Oh,
but
come on, let's go. Let's go.
okay, Megan. This is a perfect, clear example of frame within a frame. I love. It looks like, was this a reflection? It looks like a reflection. Which now I'm like, oh, my critique was like, I would want you to square up that window and maybe like just have move. I don't know what this wire thing is, like move it just to clean it up. But then I'm realizing since a reflection, you might have gotten in that frame. But because it's so dark at the bottom, I'm wondering if you could have like just squared everything up and
Hidden in the shadow. Yeah.
hidden in the shadow at the bottom. But lovely, lovely sunset.
Yeah, that's beautiful, unique approach of a sunset photo. All right, this one,
Bob's in the house.
beautiful frame within a frame. I mean, that's sort of the epitome of the thing. It's really cool because it's like a stone wall that you're using as the frame. Well exposed, perfect, sort of subject in the background. I am a little wanting to see what that building is to the right, but at the same time, maybe that it's kind of cool. You sort of wanting to see around or see more, which just adds a little bit to it. I feel like the right side's maybe a little bit more than the left side, so maybe that could be a little bit less, but that's nitpicky. This is also a place where if you did a sunset or sunrise, having a little bit more drama opposed to just a blue sky might help, but otherwise, great photo.
Yeah.
We got the
And
faster, Phil. Jeez.
oh, okay. Yeah, I know. Okay, I'm not going to say anything. Good job, Bob. All right, Ryan, this is a cool. Okay, so this is cool. I think you posted two, and instead of like a standard like actually having a frame around the whole thing, it looks like you used like a window or door frame or something. I definitely like this one more. It's just a more interesting dramatic photo with the lighting. You could have posted this for dramatic lighting this week. But overall, I think good. I think I would still like those lines to be like square, in my opinion. I don't know if that would have been possible. Maybe these were curtains or something that could have been like straightened up. But that's just my preference, straight lines for something like this. But really love the photo, and like that you posted both. Usually we ask for one photo, but it's fun to see the day and night versions. Kenneth also, and if anyone likes these photos while we're doing this or has comments, let us know in the comments, and the photographers would like to hear too. All right, Sam, Kenneth's photo.
They're fences.
You got the pressure. All the people watching live, you gotta critique their photos.
I know. This is great. So this photo, I think, without the grass line on the bottom of the frame, it wouldn't quite work for me. But because you have that on the bottom and then the trees on the sides, it is a nice little natural frame. Part of me wonders if it was that the top tree line was then the top of the frame, if that would have been a sort of a more interesting frame within a frame. As a photo overall, I mean, it's a beautiful sunset. I feel like it does have a somewhat of that HDR effect. It looks like maybe use the brush tool on the sky up above, which you can see like deeper into the branches. It doesn't have that same like sort of saturation happening, which is it's a really tough thing to like get in there, and like that's such fine needles and everything to do that. But it's a great sunset sunrise photo, and yeah, it looks like a beautiful spot to take photos.
Yeah, thank you for posting. Okay, Norm, one of our other supporters. This is what is that even? I have to read this. Sorry.
I think it's a lantern.
Oh, a lantern in a storage locker. Interesting. Okay, so this would be a dope photo if there was enough light at night when you could see this lantern lit up. It's definitely frame within a frame within a frame within a frame, so that's kind of cool. I would have tried to pull down these highlights in the top left corner so that it wasn't overexposed. And then also Ooh, it would have been tough to like square up. I mean, you pretty much squared it up
It's
centered.
photos,
There's this door here, which is kind of cool. Maybe even just cropping in, or if you were a bit closer, I could have lost the bottom half of this if the subject is just this lantern in the middle. But part of me thinks like the subject is the door itself too. So yeah, I think maybe just brought down the exposure in the top left so that it's not overexposed.
yeah.
All right, cool. Vaishnavi.
Ooh, I really like this photo. Outside of the frame within the frame thing, I really like seeing the light on the ground. I'd even want to come back further to see more of that light. But for specifically frame within the frame, I almost feel like maybe if it was cropped at the bottom of that wall to really just be focused on the window frame. This is, I think, a really great example of exposing to your highlights and allowing the shadows to really fall off into
Mm,
darkness. And I
yeah,
think it's something that sometimes when you're learning how to do exposures or you're a little afraid to like lose those details, but I think it's a good thing to do, and I think this is a good example of why that is. You still get some details on the walls. You can sort of see these photos, but they're in the shadows. They're not the subject matter. The brightness outside is that subject matter. Um, yeah, I think it's really cool. I mean, I would love like obviously it's sort of what is outside that window. I can't.
yeah,
I think it's a leaf and then some water tanks, but yeah, I love the composition and the exposure of it. Maybe like if you could get someone up there, that would create a more dynamic photo in some way. But yeah,
yeah. Agreed. Yeah. Overall, though, great job,
yeah.
Bill. Bill. Ooh, this is interesting. So Bill's here in the house. This shed with hay. Interesting. My first thought is like, is this really frame within a frame? Like, these posts definitely frame this subject of the hay. So yeah, I guess technically it is. And it's kind of just like a nice shot, great overall exposure. Yeah, I don't have anything bad to say about it other than it's not like the most interesting subject to me. I guess that's probably my critique. But in terms of like just being technically a nice photo, it's pretty good.
If you
And
threw in a person there or threw in
yeah,
something on the hay just to
yeah,
add a little life to it or something. Um,
that's maybe what it is. But yeah, good job. Very one of our founding
oh,
members of Plus. Ooh, Sam,
with the
lucky.
colors, very always does these sort of colors and then black and white's the background, and it's cool because sometimes you look at and you could miss that she's black and white things. This is a
Yeah,
great. I think this is a really fun frame within a frame because it took more than just standing in the right position. It also took timing it
yeah,
with the cyclist. I'm assuming she changed the colors of every single water thing because a couple of the water things go from pink to green mid flow.
yeah,
But maybe they're lit up. I'm not sure. Um, really
yeah. I
fun
don't know.
composition, like perfect timing with the bike cyclist going by. The energy of the water adds a uniqueness to the frame. I think most or all these frames so far have been static frames,
Yeah,
and this is the frame that's living, it's moving, which just adds a lot of dynamicness to it. So yeah,
yeah.
great job there.
That's cool. Well, a lot of people like that. Even in black and white, it would have been cool. Okay, our timer's got done, but we're gonna just keep rolling through these. I guess we need more more time for these, or less talking. But I'm so stoked to get Gianluca, another one of our founding members. And I'm just gonna say up front, this is probably my favorite photo that was submitted to this contest. This I love that he really crushed the exposure in the frame outside the subject. It really allows you to focus in on what the subject is within this frame. The composition's great, and waiting for that moment where it would have been an interesting photo without the cyclist, but the story of the cyclist coming down this path, these bikes parked on the side, I think altogether creates such a great composition and really great job balancing the crop so that it's pretty much perfectly symmetrical on the left and right. So Gianluca, dude, this is an amazing photo, and yeah, great job.
Yeah, it's like a Fellini film or something.
Yeah,
It has
totally.
like the textures of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Andrew, oh, this is a cool one.
Oh, yeah. So this self portrait, I love it. Definitely getting creative with. It looks like just a door with a mirror on it.
Yeah.
Really like the black and white edit. Has a bit of character to it as well. Just sort of the how you pose yourself and whatnot. Um, yeah, I think it's cool. I Part of me wonders if it was framed that you were all in just that bottom square, like having your beanie go into that next one feels a
Mm-hmm.
little strange to me, but I also
Mm-hmm.
don't really mind it because the majority of
Yeah.
you is in that lower square. So
Yeah.
I do think because the bottom of the frame has that much wood, I think above you I'd want to even that out probably. The left
Yeah.
and right feel good, but the top and bottom it feels a little off. But
Yeah, it could
I
be a
like
square crop.
yeah, I like how it's a little imperfect. Like you get a little off to the left of something different, you get a little off to the right, something different. The door handle's slightly cut off. It's cool. I really like that.
You got the policia coming after you, Sam?
No, I got just I don't know. They have cars with huge speakers that just play the radio out loud here. I'm not,
Christopher posted this Balboa Park. Always fun.
Nice.
Wow, cool, cool. Definitely cool edit. And I think this is a great example of technically you have this frame and there's stuff within the frame. Compared to Gianluca's photo, I would say that one's more captivating to me because there's a subject in here. I think it's a little bit over edited in terms of the warmth or the yellow that was added. This might be a cool black and white photo. It's definitely a cool style if that's what you're going for. And then I see like you might have used some brushes to like edit the lanterns at the top, but you can really see the edges of those brushes that you use to boost that exposure. So I would just be careful of that. Maybe like feather it out more or just make this whole area a little bit more, bring up the exposure or something so you're not seeing that like basically like a brush stroke.
Yeah. It is. It's so hard to get those when you want to sort of highlight a specific.
Yeah.
Oh, excuse me, buddy. I'm sorry. Do you want to get down?
Bodie, what do you think about this one? You see that stick? You see that
Thanks,
stick on
buddy.
the ground? This one's a good one for Bodie.
He's so over today. Okay. This is a great natural frame within a frame. This is like not an easy thing to find out in the world. The branch going across it definitely like fills it out. It's again one of those things. I think you have your subject and you focus on that, but then you have to really, when you're doing these types of things, like how much room's to the right, how much room's to the
Mm-hmm.
right, how much room's to the top, how much is to the bottom, and really balancing that out.
Yeah.
Just a little bit shaving off the left side, and I think you'd be great. The
Mm-hmm.
only issue is to crop this, you'd lose where that branch comes across. So you
Yeah.
almost have to do that when taking the photo, opposed to cropping it later. So
Yeah.
yeah,
You
I
could
think it's
probably
a.
make the sky pop a little bit more with some saturation. It looks
I
kind
think
of
this would be a cool
desaturated.
black and white. I think
Yeah.
it'd be a cool black and white
Yeah.
one, like very winter vibes.
Julie, thank you for posting this from Isla
Ooh,
Chiloe. This is cool. Ooh, nice. Yeah, this is like
I love it the way.
this is where the frame itself is interesting enough where I don't necessarily need a subject in the background other than like this great landscape off the back. So yeah, great job. I see some people posting comments in the Facebook group. So if you're watching this on Facebook, head over to the Photography and Friends YouTube channel. That's where it's easier for us to see the comments. And make sure you subscribe so that you get these live. So we've got a few more. Let's just hit them real quick. Sharon.
Sharon, really nice frame. Again, I'd probably lose the left side just to balance it out. It's
Yeah.
fun with like the train and the people. Again, like subjects and these types of things really do bring some life to it.
Yeah.
Um, but I think just getting a bit more symmetrical with the frame.
Yeah.
You have those posts coming down. I think I just would have balanced that out. But
Yep.
overall, I mean, I love the train reflection in the building and like
Yeah.
it's dynamic. So yeah.
Cool. This next one's super cool. Josh Great,
Aw.
great job. This is a really cool photo. I like seeing the reflection because you took this outside the frame, the window. The edit, it's super like flat edit, and maybe that's what you're going for, which is cool. Might boost the contrast just a little bit myself, but otherwise, really cool use of setting up a subject in a frame to take this photo. Really cool.
Yeah. One thing just I would do
Mm-hmm.
with that, and it wouldn't be too hard to do depending on your edit. There's something above his head that served the same
Yeah,
darkness,
it's probably like a
and I
light
think
fixture or something. Yeah.
yeah, I maybe go in there and just lighten that up, or have that match the ceiling just to yeah, just yeah.
Yeah.
But really beautiful, intimate moment, and yeah, I really like that, and I like the flat uh,
Cool.
edit.
All right, back to you, Sam. Marley. Let's
Fun.
go.
I like this. I has a little perspective shift. You can see how the letters get sort of focused and are
Mm-hmm.
out of focus in the background. Fun, creative. Looks like maybe having using an actual light or something,
Yeah.
but just really, really simple concept and well executed. Really,
I
yeah,
would
really,
have, the
really.
only thing, it's great photo. I would have, it would have been more interesting if you found like a certain word or phrase that you could actually see in the lens. I see even like the like disappeared is like a cool word that if that was like sort of centered or something, I don't know,
Right.
maybe would have
That's
been
fun.
more
That's
interesting.
fun. Yeah, yeah.
Nancy, oh, this is super cool. So using like the lighting from behind, I love this photo. Great edit, silhouetting. Looks like a little girl and this cat. Super cool photo. Great edit. Really like it. And not like a perfect symmetrical frame, but I really, really dig this photo. Good job. And I don't know if we got any other. Oh my gosh, we got so many more. We weren't prepared for this. Um, Sam.
We got four more.
Okay.
Okay. This is near perfect. Again, I just wish the subject was dead center with the
Mm-hmm.
archway, but
I
this
know.
is such a beautiful like the juxtaposition of the trees with this like natural framing material and then the concrete or whatever that building's made of. Nice different textures and colors and everything.
Yeah.
Um, I would love to see this just getting that middle spire perfectly lined up in the middle
Yeah. A step to the
would be an
right.
incredible photo, I think.
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah, really, really lovely. It's a postcard moment. Yeah.
Oh, this is cool. This is one where like this is like the only one where there's like kind of multiple frames, which is super cool. I think the only thing you probably could do in Lightroom in the last live session I did it live is use the straightening tool to straighten out these lines so it's not like as warped going in. I'm not sure. I can't tell if this wall actually the windows might be coming in a little bit. That might be why it's doing that. But I think
Yeah.
if it was straightened out, it would look even better. And maybe even giving just a little bit of room on the right and left so that you can see the edges of the frame of these windows. Very cool photo. And I like seeing like the river going down through the center.
Yeah, that's
Beautiful.
gorgeous. Fun place to take photos.
Yeah.
So this was going through it. This was one of my favorite photos.
Yeah.
This is a really great example of sort of color contrast,
Yeah.
which isn't always the easiest thing to achieve because we don't always choose what colors are we're using and stuff. But the fact
Hmm.
that she's in this very blue world, I don't know if that's a bounce house. I'm assuming it's a bounce house or a
Hmm.
trampoline bounce house. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then there's I don't know, sort of a brown, maybe hay or something in the background, but it's nondescript. And then she just stands out so much
Yeah.
and is clearly I'm not sure I don't know if that's a marker or
Yeah, I
yeah,
think she said leaving a
like
kid with a marker. Yeah.
just such a wonderful, and then like just this little like breaking through in this little world. It's a fun moment and also a great composition and like, yeah, it
Yeah.
just feels great. Yeah, well done.
Yeah, that I love that one. And Nancy, this is a cool one.
Oh,
I love the idea. It's out of focus, I think probably because it's so dark and your shutter speed was a little slow. I'm not sure if you posted your
Not the
Let's see.
shutter speed, but everything
No,
else.
yeah. So I
I'm
think
assuming it's for the
probably,
shutter.
yeah, just if the focus was sharp or the shutter was sharp, it would be a much more technically better photo. But I love the idea, all the textures, the light, and everything.
It almost has a like Sunset Boulevard classic Hollywood
Mm-hmm.
movie film look to it. Like even being that little bit out of focus, like it has
Yeah,
a sort of vintagey feel.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. All right, and our last one, Sam from Michael. This is cool.
Oh, that's not on my list. Okay. Well, that's awesome. 2 frames, or I guess 6 frames, but really like the OCD in my brain is just in love with this because it
Yeah,
feels
yeah,
left and right, top and bottom,
yeah.
everything's nice. The frame inside of it, like that building's level within it as well. And then you have little frames within that frame. This would be a
This,
wonderful photo to print. I feel
yeah,
like
totally.
I could maybe. I don't know. I think the saturation's nice. I think the contrast is nice. Um,
Could boost the
I'm looking
blues
on.
saturation if you wanted to make the
It
sky pop a little bit,
could,
but
but like the sand color of that
yeah,
building, it's not. It kind of is a nice balance between the two. Maybe a little bit more, but
yeah,
yeah, no, really, really great job. That might be one of my favorites as well. And again, one of those things. If you just had like, a person in like a red dress or something doing a move or something down there on the street, like, or I don't
yeah,
know, something, some little bit of life in there, but as a still moment, I think that's a great photo, and yeah, you should print that
yeah.
one.
Love it. Cool. Well, thank you so much to everyone who participated in last week's photo challenge. Um, Hopefully, you got some good thoughts. And everyone, hit that like button, post some claps for all of our photographers for posting so many great photos. This week, we are doing the dramatic lighting photo challenge. So I guess I'll bring that up. So that's this one right here. We've got a handful of people who have posted so far, and just get creative with it. Whatever dramatic lighting means to you. I have a few photos. If we have time later on, I'll bring it up. I was trying to keep my eye out for some dramatic lighting this week. But yeah, cool. Well, with that, I think we should jump to questions if we have any. Thank you, everyone, for the likes. Appreciate that. All the photographers appreciate that. There was a question earlier on that I'll bring up we can start with, but if you all have questions, now's the time to post them. And anything photo related, video related, anything we'll tackle today. So the question was from Ragu's Shutterworks has this question. How can I get out of shyness to capture in public? The age-old question.
I've been wrestling with this a lot down on this trip because I've realized while I love landscape photography and I've been doing a good amount of that here, I am kind of getting bored of it. And like I like being out in nature and I capture the photo, but I want portraits. I'm having these great interactions with people, and I want to take photos of them. And
Yeah,
I think the biggest part is in part is just talking to people and talking to strangers and finding ways to ice break those moments, um, and then finding a way. And I think everyone's unique in how they're going to approach this because everyone has different levels of comfort talking to people, but it's just about asking someone and letting them say yes or no, and being okay if they say no, and being excited if they say yes. But I've really found that most people I've asked are more than happy to have me take their photo, but
yeah,
it's not doing it by just going up to them and saying, "Hey, can I take your photo?" It's, "Hey, good morning," little small talk maybe, or asking them a question about what they're doing, or just something. And depending where you live, if you're in big city, people might be like, "Why is this person talking to me?" And it might be better to quickly just be like, "Hey, could I take your photo? I love your look, or I love your style," or hey, I just think this would be a cool photo. Could I? I've had people ask like, well, why do you want to take my photo? What is this for? Like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
I'm just traveling, want to take photos, or I say I'm a photographer working on a photo series of people, or you share some explanation. But being ready for that is people want to know, and having maybe your Instagram up to be like, oh yeah, like I'll share it with you on Instagram or something. But there really is no secret to this. You just
No,
have to be.
and it's harder for, I think more different people are gonna be better at it than others. Literally yesterday, I was walking with my camera down the street, and there was this guy coming towards me with a dog, and the light was really cool, like creating this nice, just ray of like fur around this dog. And I was like, okay, I got my camera. I'm gonna take a picture, but then I was like, this is like so awkward. He's just like walking towards me. I'm like, I didn't take the photo. I was just like too embarrassed because I was like, I didn't want him to feel awkward. It's like in the middle of the neighborhood. Why is this guy taking photos? So I didn't. On the flip side, last week I went to this taco cart down the street, and this guy, I ordered tacos. This guy was like chopping up the meat, and I was like, hey, can I take your photo? And the guy was like, no. And I was like, okay, like, like actually that doesn't happen that often where someone's like, just like, no. Like most people are like, okay, okay. But then his like coworker, he was working on the spit of meat, and he like was like, oh, you want to take a photo? And he like turned on the flame, and so I got a photo of that, and it was even better. But yeah, you're just gonna, I'm bad at it too, so I think it's something that everyone, but then like once you capture that photo and you do ask and you capture that photo, it's like a little high that you get as a photographer that's like, I did it, and it's like awesome. And so yeah, it's tough.
I will say, like, another thing is if you ask someone to take their photo, have your settings, have your camera set up and ready to go. Because if you ask to take someone's photo, you don't want to be fumbling around. You don't want to be like, oh, I don't know what to do now. And as much as you can, slow down. Because it's, for me, it's like it's a rush. I have like adrenaline going. I'm sweaty. I'm like, and it's just like, okay, slow down. What's like most of the time, what I've started doing is just stepping back, because a lot of times I'm like, I'm too close, and I'm just like, no, get the whole scene, like see the whole picture, and then maybe I'll be like, oh, just one more, and I'll scoot in for the close up. But I think initially, sort of having that technical side dialed in so that it is a quick thing for them. And
Mm-hmm.
then the weird thing is, I don't always. Sometimes I'll be like, oh, you want to check it out, and other times I'm like, cool, thanks, and I just start walking
Yeah.
away. And I've had mixed reviews where sometimes people are like, oh, like, cool, like they
Yeah.
see it and like, cool, it's a photo of me, like that's
Yeah.
weird. And other times like, oh, that's so cool, they get really excited about it and everything. So
Yeah.
it's just being open to other people, and all the things that interaction can bring out, and trying to enjoy it, trying to, it can be a really fun thing. And I've had great conversations and learned about cities I'm traveling in just by talking with a stranger, and then asking to take their photo after the fact.
Yeah. I
So
mean, also there's the whole other side. Maybe I don't know if you are, if you're asking just about going up to people and asking to take their portraits, but if it's just I'm shy about having my camera out and looking like a photographer taking photos. I mean, that's another thing, but I think in most places around the world with people with smartphones and everything, people are just used to people taking photos nowadays. So it's just baby steps. The more you do it, the more you're going to feel comfortable with it. And there's that whole flip side of doing street photography where you're on a telephoto lens taking pictures of people, but they're not aware of you, which is a totally different style of photography that you can do. So
and
great question. And
I do want to bring up on the other side of this. I remember the first time, I think it was a wedding, I went to film when Will was being a photographer,
mm-hmm.
and all of a sudden I saw Will in wedding photographer Will mode, completely different person than the person I knew. I was like,
Yeah.
whoa, who is this person? And there is someone brought up like being comfortable to go up to a stranger and take their photos, is one thing, but it's the same thing as getting hired to take photos at a wedding or take photos in a portrait shoot. You don't know this person. I mean, you might, but like getting someone comfortable in front of the camera, getting them comfortable, like talking them up, like, oh, that, like, I love your look. You're looking so good today. Like, could I take your photo? Yeah, okay, yeah, just stand like that. Oh, that's great. And you turn into this person where you're hyping them up, you're getting them
Yeah.
excited, or you're asking them to give you certain looks. It's a
Yeah.
great practice if you do want to do that kind of work, and it takes time. I mean, I was so I was like, wow, Will, you're a whole nother person, and he's just exhausted after the end of it all because
Yeah.
he is so on the entire day, like super excited, just like everyone looks wonderful. Oh, just do this, that will look great, and yeah, it's a whole
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, totally. I think it
Yeah,
just comes down to practicing, just like getting
yeah,
your technical side of things locked in. It takes practice and getting out there. But uh, Ragu, I think it was you who posted that question. My challenge to you would be like this week, go take a photo of someone out in public. Ask them if you can take their photo, someone that interests you, and share it to the Plus community. I would love to see it. And yeah, get out there and do it.
yeah.
Bill had a quick
Yeah,
question
that's okay.
about updating classes. So we on Skillshare versus Udemy and other places. I'm not updating as much on Skillshare. Skillshare isn't as great for instructors. They've totally like cut a bunch of options, and they're super harsh with like following little rules. Like if I mention that we have photography and friends, the community in a video, that's not allowed, and etc. So Skillshare is a lot harder to work with as an instructor. So not all of our classes are updated. The first place they'll be updated is on Udemy, and then on Video School as well. And so we do keep those courses updated. So unfortunately, not so much. Skillshare is a great place. You get all the classes for one membership, but probably the best place to get all of our newest classes is Udemy or Video School. Yeah. All right. Question from Facebook. What software app is good for editing? Lots of great ones.
Lots of great ones. I guess I mean, I think Lightroom is by far the best.
Yep.
I think if you're really getting into photography, and the app, I believe on iOS at least, is free. I'm not sure about Android, but um, the app at least is free, and you can do so much with that. Um, Outside of that, I mean, there's so many out there, and at the end of the day, I do think they all, for photo editing, do more or less the same thing, but
Mm-hmm.
they all have different features, um, and they all take time to learn. So I think that's kind of the other side of it is like, what's your budget? How much are you willing to spend on it? And Luminar is definitely a really popular choice. Trying to think of
Affinity
other
Photo is another
Affinity
one. I
Photo.
mean, people don't like paying the monthly fee. I totally get for Adobe. And um, if you are a video creator, a graphic designer, and you're doing it all, I think Lightroom is the best. I use Lightroom Classic. There's two versions now, Lightroom Classic and then the newer Lightroom version. Lightroom Classic, I think, is a lot better for batch editing a ton of photos at one time.
Yeah,
The new Lightroom is great because you can edit based off, it's kind of like cloud based. You could take a photo from your desktop, then it's going to be on your iPad or whatever else that you want to edit on. So I think a lot of professionals will use Lightroom, but it doesn't mean these other options like Affinity Photo, Luminar, or I don't know. Does anyone else use something else that they love? Let us know in the comments for people to know. But yeah, I would suggest trying out Lightroom and seeing what it does. There's the dark room, or dark table is like a free version as well. I mean, and at the end of the day, if you're not doing a ton of crazy edits, there's a ton of like just like your Mac Photos or the Windows Photos app that come with your computer can do a ton of stuff, and it's not going to be as intense as Lightroom, but you can still do some great editing with that. Cool. Kenneth, great point. Don't let editing get in the way of taking good photos. Amazing. Yes, absolutely. Bob says, I've used Lightroom Classic, Photo Paint, and Affinity, and have leaned into Affinity, I believe. Capture One is another one. Yep. Leroy
So
says Capture One.
Capture One's, it's so interesting. Capture One is, I've talked to a few people and they tell me that like how it reads files is different than Lightroom. Lightroom does
Yeah.
something that reads it, and that you can get better colors from it,
Mm-hmm.
which is just wild to me that Lightroom wouldn't be at least on par. But I've definitely like had people be like, "Oh yeah, no, I won't touch. I only use um, Capture One." I'm like, is it that big of a difference?
I
Like,
mean, but at the end of the day, like I see that when you're watching YouTubers going through pixel peeping these photos, and maybe there's a slight difference, but at the end of the day, is it changing a photo from a bad one to a good one? No. You still got to take a great photo, and pretty much any of these apps can do a decent job editing photos. So,
yeah,
cool. Any other questions? Pop them into the chat right now. Let's see if there's. Yeah, I didn't see any other photos, but
yeah.
Chris
Okay.
mentions, sorry, Chris mentions that Capture One is good for Fujifilm. I'm a Fujifilm shooter. I've always heard this. I've never played around with it. Chris, why do you think it's better, or what is it about Capture One that is better for Fuji? Is it like the colors or the details or something like that? I would love to hear more.
That's what I've been told is the colors and how sometimes Lightroom you get these gradients or these different like strange things happening, and you
Mm-hmm.
just don't get that in Capture One. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Um, Sam, did you have a photo that you wanted to talk about?
yeah. Let's see how well this works.
Speaking of editing,
Yeah. Okay, let me just a minute.
editing in Photoshop is not as good as editing in Lightroom? Question mark. You have like a lot of the same features if you're using the raw photo editor in Photoshop. I think the biggest, I mean, you literally have like all the, I think pretty much all the features. I think the difference is that when you're editing multiple photos, it's just
Yeah.
not efficient. You're like opening one photo at a time in Photoshop, whereas Lightroom, it's like simple to just open up all your photos, go through them, copy edits from one photo to the next, that kind of thing. All right,
All
I
right.
see you have a
That works.
screen. Let me see. Oh, boom, look at that. Okay,
Yeah.
Sam's on the screen.
So let's see if I make this smaller. Oh, that doesn't
Oh,
impact.
oh,
Okay.
sorry. Um, there we go.
All right. So this was a random photo. So I was taking photos of this sunrise. This was in Loretto. And I randomly was like, oh, I'm going to focus on this little island here and just get a little bit of depth. And it just happened at the exact moment that I took the photo. This bird, like, kind of
Hmm.
freaked out from off to the side and flew across my frame. And it was a complete fluke, like random chance, but it added a bunch to the photo. Obviously, it had, I
Yeah.
have a character now, and I was shooting at, you can see, I was shooting at f11, 1/230 hundredth of a second, ISO 64 on an 80 millimeter, and so while I don't think it's on the exact same plane, it's close enough that this is. I mean, it's a great silhouette with the wing motion. Um, and yeah, so I've been working on this edit and I can't figure out basically how it was in camera. I want to
And
say
we're
it was
not
like,
seeing all your whole Lightroom, by the way. It's okay. We can still
yeah,
see just your main screen, but yeah, it's super. I think the bird adds a lot to it, right? I mean, it would have been interesting just by itself without the bird, but hmm.
but what I
Oh,
was trying to figure out is I want to, like, there's this blueness of the morning,
Mm-hmm.
and then this sort of the sun coming out. But whenever I add the blue, I just feel like it looks like the vignette looks too artificial, I guess. Like the blue just doesn't make sense within it. Um, and yeah, I was trying to figure out how to.
I mean, I like how it is now more than what you did before. It was like a little bit too blue.
Right. Because it is like this natural vignette of sort of that, but maybe it is just I lean into.
Is that like sun perfectly centered?
No.
Yeah, maybe like give it a little bit more space on the right side just so it's centered.
Is that centered? No.
It's a little bit off, but I like seeing that little shadow of land or whatever that is, or that little mud sticking out of the water on the left. So I
Yeah.
don't want to crop that out. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So yeah,
I mean, I kind of wish like, wait, what was this shot on? What camera?
this was on the X2D, the Hasselblad.
Oh wow, so you have a ton of
This is
megapixels.
100 megapixel, so
Yeah.
we could do this if we wanted.
Yeah, I'm kind of like, well, can we just like crop into like the sun and the bird, like silhouette? Maybe not that crazy, but like even like a vertical, something like that. Ooh, yeah, maybe. Hmm,
I don't know,
I don't know.
because I kind of like this whole
Yeah, it's like the whole
landscape
story.
online. One thing I was playing with, which was kind of fun, was 235 edits,
Mm.
like a whole nother.
Whoa, yeah, that's kind of cool. Ooh, I like that. I think is the horizon just a tiny bit not level. Yeah, I dig that.
Yeah,
Do you want the vignette? Yeah, I guess there is some vignetting in the sky, probably naturally. Do you want the vignette in the sky as much, or just like in the bottom corners?
I mean,
I don't know. If anyone has thoughts, let us know in the
yeah,
chat.
I was kind of I know I like the photo, but I've been struggling with like how the color, like what tone of orange sunrise is it? Do I add that little vignette of blue? Do I just do away with the blue?
Jess says she likes the thinner horizontal crop for sure. She's asking about a linear vignette versus the radial vignette. Like just like across the top and across. I think the radial might work in the bottom corners, but it's so apparent in the top left and top right now.
I wish you could see my editing bar.
I mean, it's a cool photo. I like the saturation you had. I think before it was like a little bit more saturated, but that's just my style. More orange. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Makes it pop. I don't know. I think that's pretty dope.
yeah, yeah. So that was the one I was kind of working on.
Nice. Any other?
That's
Oh,
kind of
look at that
morning.
landscape. Nice.
Yeah,
That one, is that a bird in the distance?
yeah.
That's crazy. That's, that is nuts that you could zoom in so much, dude.
Want to see something really crazy?
Yeah.
This is
Oh
actual.
my god. That is crazy. That's crazy,
Yeah.
dude.
Don't tell anyone.
That's a cool photo. I like that one a lot.
How about this one?
Street photography. Did you ask if you could take his photo?
I asked him if I could take his photo. Yeah.
He's like, definitely not.
He
Oh my
chased me
gosh.
outside.
Oh, nice. That's a good one. Oh, you got lots of great photos so far from
Yeah.
this trip.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Nice.
and fun. Yeah.
Nice. I'm gonna pull up my photo. Unless there's any other questions, I'm gonna pull up my photo from.
Oh,
Let's see. Oh,
did I
where
lose
am I?
you?
Here I am. I'm gonna pull up my Lightroom really quick. I was playing around with some dramatic lighting. I'll show you what I found. So let's see. We're going to do not Facebook. Lightroom. All right. So I was looking for some dramatic lighting for this week, and these two photos I found underneath this playground when I was playing with my son at the park. Thought was kind of interesting. Then they were also playing with some chalk last night, and the sunset I thought was pretty interesting. So I like lined up these crayons. Thought was a little dramatic. Or gardening out front. Here I was on this walk. I don't know. I might be able to edit this into something interesting. But this morning I found something even better that I wanted to just do a quick edit. So the sunlight was like really shining in to the spot in my house that I thought was super interesting. And I pulled out the old tripod and did a couple timer shots. Got my cat to participate. And thought this would be kind of like an interesting edit. So I think a black and white, I was going to go for like a black and white edit. So I'm just going to do quick, click the black and white. Shadows. I'm just going to bring down the shadows and the blacks even. Highlights, I don't really want to bring up, but I might crop in. Get a little bit closer. Oh, something like that, maybe.
Oh yeah. Nice leading lines. That
Mm-hmm.
I think that top right corner though should be where that shadow and the where that line sort of hits,
There.
like right in the corner.
Yeah,
Right there. Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah.
I might do a quick linear gradient just to darken this up even more in the top left. And maybe even the bottom right as well. I could just add a linear gradient to that. Oh, that's a little bit much. But the cool thing about Lightroom, have you played with this much, is like now with all these masks, you can just like take the amount that you've applied and just increase or decrease them. I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Maybe I might just do a quick, let me see if I do a radial gradient right around our subjects, me and my kitty. I might bring up the shadows just a little bit. I don't know. Something like that's kind of cool.
That's nice.
And then I could copy all these. And let's see, go to my next photo. Let's see. This one's kind of interesting. Trying to pose.
I will say, I think you could do a really nice sort of muted, desaturated
Not
color
black and white.
edit. I I mean, I
Oh,
like the
yeah.
black and white, but just the color palette in there is really it's nice. It's like sort of yeah, that looks good. Is that one of your presets?
That's the Fujifilm color setting. So it's like
Ooh.
Fuji has all
Ah,
these color presets, which I've always stuck to Ostia, Provia, which is like their standard, and then Velvia when I'm doing like nature stuff that I want more. But they have all these
totally.
other ones like Classic Negative and
I like
Classic
Velvia.
Chrome, Bleach Bypass people love, and I'm actually really
Their, their,
digging some of
their
these.
colors are so good.
Yeah. Camera Pro
Wow.
Negative, that's kind of cool. Maybe.
Yeah, and then do a similar thing. I mean, I think the colors are just really nice in it.
Yeah.
Nice tones.
Cool. Anyways, I can sit here and just edit, but it is top of the hour. I'm not sure if there were any more. Warm it up a bit, maybe. I don't know.
Little sunset. Um,
Were there any more
Zayas was asking
questions?
about submitting photos for publication. There's a
Oh,
lot of
yeah.
wedding scape, but not too much or anything for portraits. I think when it comes to portraits, it needs to fit within a category. So whether it's sort of fashion or like, is it a portrait of someone within a certain world?
Yeah.
I think you find them more so searching for something like that opposed to just general portraits. So it's typically, I think of portraits more so being for like lifestyle photography, or more like brand, like fashion or accessories or that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, but broad spectrum, like just portrait, I don't necessarily think you'll find too much probably.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, thank you everyone for being here. If there's no last questions, I will just reiterate our thanks to everyone for being here live. Special thank you to all of our supporters who have joined the Plus community and are supporting us every month. We really, really appreciate that. Um, Will is going to be out next week. Sam and I will talk about if we're going to be here next week. We might take a 1 week break hiatus, and then we'll be back the following week. But in the meantime, take part in our photo challenges. Remember, it is not that. It is the it is that. It's the dramatic lighting photo challenge this week. We'll have a new one come out next week, and we'll get to, if we do miss next week's live, we'll get to both of these challenges for critiques next week. If you're not a member of Photography and Friends Plus, it's free now. You can join. You could ask questions, post photos. There was a question Bob, I thought, asked about getting to some gallery photos for critiques and things. Definitely, I think we should, if we have time, get to questions or photo critiques or gallery posts during our live stream. That would be a good thing. Any feedback or things like that, definitely check that out. Something you probably don't see, but here's a little sneak peek at what you will be able to see shortly. We mentioned it last week. Will is putting up the final touches on the wedding photography course update, a complete, fresh, new course for wedding photographers. What we're going to do is we're going to launch it here in Photography and Friends first, and Will wants to do it as a cohort-based boot camp where he's going to help people who want to learn wedding photography. They'll get access to the full new course. They'll also get access to private group coaching with Will for like 4 calls and I think 2 months of a private discussion board. So for anyone who wants to like really dive into photo editing or wedding photography, not photo editing, wedding photography, that'll be great. We'll be announcing how you enroll in that in the next couple weeks. So yeah, check that out. There's a question. Luna asks, I do your Udemy course, but I joined around 1 year. Can I still submit my photos? Luna, submit photos where? Are you talking about to the course or to Plus?
Within the course, you get access for a lifetime. So for the
Yep.
assignment and whatnot, you can always do that.
Yeah.
And then if you join the Photo and Friends Plus community, tons of photos being shared there. A lot of sort of community feedback, people sharing together, and yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And one thing too, I added all of our courses because a lot of people we've realized don't realize how many courses we have. But if you're interested in any of our courses, we have so many courses right here, and it helps support us if you take these courses. So you can find easy links to all of our courses. Sam and Will have a great mobile photography course. Will has a starting your photography business course. We've done our landscape and night photography courses. And if there's any other courses or updates you think we should do, let us know. We are game to put out more courses, different courses, update courses, and all that kind of stuff. So quick, easy links are here.
I gotta run, but
Okay,
thank
Sam
you
has
all
to
so much
run.
for being here.
Bye, everyone. See you next week or the week after. Bye, Sam. See ya.
Ciao.